we are candid. We talk straight talk. We tell people what we think. And that tradition and those values live today.
Are the source of all governmental power. That the authority of the people is to be extended. We believe, not restricted, equality for all and privileges for none.
Hello and welcome, everybody. Of course, this is Rachel, Communications Director, and with me.
Hello, this is Vicki, Finance Director.
Thank you for joining a Dim Good Time, everybody. Just some quick updates, reminders about things we've got going on. We have a new wonderful Connect Texas app. It is relational organizing made easy, which is amazing. And there is going to be a statewide training that is held for anybody who wants to get on there and be a supporter. Again, super simple. It's going to be August 30th from 4 to 5 p.m. on Zoom. So sign up for that.
Yes,
COVID test. Yes, COVID test. If you still need or want to stock up on the free COVID tests that are offered by the Biden administration, you need to go to covidtests.gov and order those before the deadline of 9/2, September 2nd, which is when that stops. So go order. I did mine last night. It takes all of like 30 seconds to do it. Super fast.
Yes.
What else?
In the mail, quick, fast, and in a hurry. I have mine.
Yes. Yeah, stock up now because everybody should be getting 3 rounds of those tests. And then each round, I believe you get 8, something like that. Okay, Tarrant County Young Democrats or Tarrant Young Democrats are going to have Dennish Sherrard, Tiffany Burks, and Salman Bhojani, all wonderful local candidates on their live podcasting and recording and their meeting. So that should be interesting on September 7th. We have a Labor Day telethon coming up on Monday. So excited for this. It's not just a telethon. It is also a picnic. It's going to be so much fun at our offices, in the parking lot. There's going to be drive-through voter registration. Union members are free because thank you to our unions. What else? I feel like I'm missing 1,000 things going on. Mid-Cities Democrats, they have a working meeting coming up on September 22nd. Don't want to miss that. And on September 24th, our very own district attorney candidate, Tiffany Burks, is going to be hosting, I think this is going to be a really wonderful informational session, Navigating Our New Normal with Tiffany Burks. And it's directly related to the decision by the Supreme Court to overturn 50 years of precedent with Roe v. Wade. And so she's going to talk and have a group of panelists talking about, you know, how to navigate all of this, what to expect, what that means for the law. Just really, really great granular information I think the public would appreciate knowing. So definitely check that out. All of this is shared on our social media as well as our bulletin brief, so subscribe. All right. Now that we're through the housekeeping, how have you been, Vicki?
I've been good. I know. Okay. I kind of had to.
This is a bit of a sigh. It's like, whoop.
Yeah. I mean, so we have like this next stretch into the general election is so busy and stressful, and the anxiety and the anticipation and just, you know, all of it. Ready to win and be done.
Yes. So same. I was joking to the big boss, our chair, Dr. Allison Campolo. Yes. But I was joking with her about, you know, it's like right now it feels like we're trying to do a marathon while sprinting, right? It feels like a lot. And I know, right, exactly. Like you're not supposed to sprint the whole time you do a marathon. You're supposed to pace yourself. And this is not that. Like this is marathon sprinting. So it's a lot. But and I know a lot of our precinct chairs and our wonderful, wonderful volunteers are feeling that way. So just a quick shout out to y'all. Thank you for doing what you do every day. Just every little bit that you can give, you're giving. And we see you, we appreciate you. You're coming out to the town halls, you're listening, you're engaged, you're activating your friends and family. Just really thank you. That all being said.
Yes, without y'all, we wouldn't be successful come November.
Exactly.
Takes a
So, but that
village.
all being said, yes, it does. Yes. What was I going to say?
Oh,
Totally went blank now. No, it's okay. Okay. But that all being said, so as much of a slog as this feels like right now, I'm getting excited. Like I am getting. Well, okay. So some of the stuff going on lately, that's why I'm getting excited. Okay. We saw like several seats in the Cook political report, which if you're a super news junkie nerd, but several seats have gone from lean Republican to flip, toss up to now lean Dem. And then there's a lot more. There's a lot more chatter. Not only are we likely going to hold on to the Senate, we're going to make some gains. It's going to be hard. Like, well, let's not pretend. It's going to be hard, but we're going to make some gains. And we might even keep the House. Now, that's all at the national level. At the local level, I don't know.
It's kind
I don't know. It depends on you. It depends on all of you listening, all of you watching. Yeah,
because
it really does.
Everything, so many seats are up for grabs, and it's absolutely up to us because every vote counts. Don't think it doesn't. That's why there are recounts.
Yes. I mean, I gotta say though, like, I mean, have you seen the clips from Beto's town halls that he's doing on his drive tour? I've seen random little things that they're sharing out from the campaign. Of course, we share them too. But it's a lot of different people. I mean, a lot of different people. And I think this is another reason I'm really starting to get excited, especially about the local level, what's going to happen. But it's not just, okay, so let me finish my thought. I'm sorry. I'm getting scatterbrained because I'm so excited. So the Beto campaign's been sharing out, like, the most recent video that I saw was this older white guy, like probably close to my age, probably in his 40s. And
older? Give me a break. I'm older. You're not
middle-aged. Okay, middle-aged men. But he was a speech pathologist at a local school district in whatever, I forget the area. And he said that the one reason he wanted to vote for Beto, he said, I've always voted Republican, but I have seen our public schools wasting away. I have seen that lack of investment. Now for like 20 years, Republicans have been in control here. And I've seen that lack of investment and that lack of concern and care for the health of our public schools. And that's why he's voting for Beto, because Beto wants to expand and take those free federal dollars to expand Medicaid and Medicare. And that will help. That will help people like this man who's a speech pathologist who helps children learn how to properly speak and pronounce words, all sorts of things around that with education. But I mean, just think how many issues are linked there that he's connecting. And how many people on the ground are doing that here in Texas? Like, I am excited. I am so excited.
So you say that, and I am a huge fan of our previous governor, Ann Richards. And
I was like,
yeah. So, yeah.
thought you were about to say something about Adam. I'm like, wait, what? No. Sorry.
Negative. Ever. Never. Anyway, the one time I will say never. Anyway, so almost 30 years ago, she was the keynote speaker for, yes, the National
Democratic
Convention.
National Convention. Yeah.
And she said that we need to invest in our schools because, number one, they are our future. And number two, we won't be able to compete worldwide, internationally, if our kids aren't well educated. And y'all, if you don't know, like, Texas is ranked in the bottom third.
It's in the bottom,
yeah, nationally. And we've got to make a change. And education is not a priority for Republicans.
Education dollars are to their donors, to the private schools,
right,
without any accountability and oversight. That is a priority for Republicans. The dollars are public tax dollars going to private entities. That is their priority.
Yes.
But no, public education, educating the actual public, without, making people have to have the money to pay for it, right?
For the average working person, it does not matter to them because the average working American can't afford private school. Even with a voucher, they can't.
Even with a coupon.
Yeah, we can't afford it. So
that's all vouchers are. They're coupons, guys. They don't cover the vast majority of tuition. They can and will turn away students with learning disabilities, with actual, physical disabilities, all sorts, right? They're not, it's a coupon.
Yeah.
It's not education.
And if you're not in the top percentage of your class, you're not going to be accepted because it's all about, them looking good and putting out college accepted kids. I mean, the average American is not benefiting from this. And again, we've talked about this before, rural cities, towns are hugely affected.
Yep.
Because those classrooms are going to be empty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Half of them.
So again, Beto's been going through, like, his drive tour is not focused on just any old places. Like, he did a swing through Fort Worth, through Tarrant County, of course, because we are the key to turning Texas blue, right? You want to finish the flip, we're the place to invest in, right? This is where it's going to happen.
Texas is not a red state anymore. It is red leaning. So huge change. Last report, it's red leaning. And that's the first time in a long time that Texas hasn't been red. Red. I'm ready. I'm ready for change. And
I'm ready, and I think people are too.
And not just that. I'm ready for everyone to be fairly represented. And all this gerrymandering isn't fair. I mean, if there's a red area, okay, first, let me preface this with, I am a recovering Republican.
We forgive you.
Thank you. I mean, Democrat now, but recovering Republican. And if you're in a solid red area, okay, you should be properly represented by a Republican. But if you're not, you need to be fairly represented. And all this gerrymandering has eliminated fair representation.
Well, it's getting the kind of the weirdness we're seeing right now. I mean, I think it kind of highlights your point. So if you look at, I don't know if anybody noticed this. It's kind of there's a little thing that happened. The Biden administration has canceled some student loan debt. I don't know if you've heard about that. Have you heard? Have you heard something about that?
A little bit. I've seen a small little headline somewhere.
Right. So, okay. As Biden would say, this is a BFD. Okay, this is a big bleeping deal, right? Up to $20,000 of student loan debt is being canceled for those who qualified and received Pell Grants when they went to school, and up to $10,000 for those who didn't. Either way, thank you. Yeah, I'll take some debt relief, right? Yes, please.
Yes.
Everybody, like this is lifting. It's like 40 million people this is affecting. 40 million Americans, right? This is not a small segment. And the insanity we are seeing from the other side, like they are losing their minds trying to pretend like this is helping the elites. No. The elites had the money to pay for college. They're not in debt. Okay? So they're so out of touch with reality though, because they've not had to be held accountable because of the gerrymandering, because of the kind of things they have institutionally put in place to try to reduce the voting population in a way to maintain their control. They are freaking the out. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Like Governor Cosplay Abbott. Yeah, seriously. Like
what did you say?
Governor Cosplay Abbott.
Okay. Just had to verify.
He's cosplaying. He is cosplaying president. The poor thing came in dead last in their CPAC straw poll, and he is still cosplaying president because he thinks he's gonna run because he's done such a great job in Texas. Like, dude, we're still worried about the lights. Oh no, he will, but like, for who? Who would want that? Who wants an unstable grid, pissed off, angry public teachers? No, but pissed off teachers, pissed off parents, a non-stable grid, lack of access to healthcare, lack of access to deciding and personal freedom. Like,
let's talk about
for that on a national level. Nobody.
Let's talk about helping only the elitists, please.
Governor Cosplay.
Well, you know who I think is going to run as well, don't you?
In 24?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Who has Abbott followed or mimicked or tried to outdo?
Well, Patrick or Trump?
DeSantis.
Oh yeah, of course DeSantis is running. But he's more viable than last place straw poll Abbott. Like DeSantis came in second.
I can't. Honestly, they're so bad.
They're both terrible. They're all terrible.
Yeah, they're so extreme that no, I can't choose. Okay, yeah, I can because I'm directly affected by the idiot running our state. But, you know, it's sad when you're on Twitter and you shoot out a tweet and someone who is a non-Texan says, "Oh, you're a Texan? Bless your heart. I couldn't live there." Right? I'm a native Texan, born and bred, love me some Texas, but it's frustrating.
It is. It is. I'm a 9th generation Texan, and I understand what you're talking about because I get it all the time online. They're like, oh, you poor thing. And I'm like, no. Texans have like, I mean, it's the famous, like, I think it's John Steinbeck quote about Texas being a nation unto itself, because it is kind of its own little unique world, if you will. But like, we're not a red state; we're a suppressed state, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans, again, they've been in control for 20 years, and the people who have been in control for 20 years are telling all of us we've got election integrity issues. Okay, if that's the case, the hell do y'all need to keep doing it for?
So
like they're not making logical sense.
So
They're not.
I've only, and I'm not a news junkie, so I may have missed a few, hopefully not, but I've only heard of like one instance of there being some voter fraud, and it was like for a little bitty town, and it was like over the water department or something.
It's literally like a handful of cases. It's tiny. In reality, to like
all local, utilities election or something. It's not like it's statewide. It's not like it's a regular occurrence. I don't.
The Tangerine Tyrant ordered Governor Cosplay to do an audit, so he did. And guess what? The audit said, no, there's no issues. You're good. So, again, they're not making logical sense. They're really showing us how scared and freaked out they are. That is why I'm getting so excited about midterms.
And self-serving.
Oh, very, very self-serving. But again, I'm getting excited about midterms because they are showing their asses. Like, they are showing how freaked out they are. Yes,
and that they
exactly.
Like their 20-year stretch is in jeopardy and coming to a close. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
It does not mean it's in the bag, though. Again,
no.
We both have already said this at the beginning, but I'm going to reemphasize it here. It is not out. We are not out of the woods, right? It is not in the bag. We are excited. We are eager. We are ready. But it all depends on how much work and what we can do between now and November 8th. Because there is no time after to work on this, right? It is now. So get on the Connect Texas app, join that August 30th training, help us organize right from your phone, right from your iPad or your computer. Like, it really is right now. Like, this is it. We're in it.
Yes.
But we can do this.
In the words of one of our judicial candidates, Crystal Gayton, text 10 people to text 10 people to text 10 people to vote, please.
Yes.
And
do it through our app. And make it easy.
Exactly.
We make it easy. It's all right there.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome. I mean, y'all have got to check it out. It's awesome.
So, okay. I am a news junkie. Like, that's not a secret. And we've already kind of been talking about, our public schools, because that really is, it touches on, it just really does have kind of that hub effect, right? With policy. Everything always comes back to it somehow, directly or indirectly, but it is always related.
And those children are our future. They are the leaders of our future.
Yes. So there was a segment last week, and if I find it on video, I'll share it out on our socials. But it was on MSNBC with Alex Wagner tonight. And it was a whole segment on Tarrant County on national news.
Serious attention.
I'm like, truly, we, Tarrant County, we are the intersection for so many of these issues. And again, the main hub of it all is education. And here's why. So in this segment, they talk about this wonderful reporter. If you're not following him already, go follow him on Twitter. That is how I stay so up to date on all of these stories around public education in Tarrant County, is Mike Hicksonbaugh. I might be saying his name wrong. I'm sorry, Mike. He's an NBC News reporter, but he's, again, very hyper local, like goes in person to these events to witness them and document what's happening, these school board meetings. And I mean, he's the one who's like early on blew the whistle that the Trump team, the Bannon, the extremists, the MAGA mobs, the people who sold out our national security to the highest bidder, okay, that group, they are the ones putting all this money and effort into very local school board races. And they're not doing it just for fun, guys. It's strategic. So it really is. And so Steve Bannon, former advisor, former just all around, well, not former, current all around terrible person, says the school boards are the key that picks the lock. And he said this to Glenn Story. Glenn Story is the owner, operator of Patriot Mobile. It's this little cell phone company startup here in Tarrant County. And
what's that reporter's name? Hicksonbaugh is all I got.
Mike Hicksonbaugh.
Okay, ready.
He's really good. Okay, so Mike Hicksonbaugh goes to these places, reports. So Steve Bannon says the school boards are the key that picks the lock. Okay. He means the lock of democracy. He means if we can control the information that the youngest of society receive, we can raise up a whole generation that is much easier for us to control. That's what he means. That is truly what he means. To which the owner of Patriot Mobile replies to him, we went out and we found 11 candidates last cycle and we supported them and we won every seat. We took over 4 school boards. They poured in a few $100,000 and they got that kind of payoff. Not 1, not 2, but 4 school boards that they now control. And so this craziness that we're seeing in Keller ISD, in Grapevine Colleyville ISD, Carroll ISD, Mansfield ISD, the craziness we're seeing, the secrecy, the weird, suddenly first day of school, we're going to introduce this meeting and we're going to totally change the curriculum or the rules around supporting children, their authentic selves. We're going to try to make homophobia, like put it into the code somehow. Like all of that, that's the payoff. That's it. So we have to be active all the time, like year round. But we got to pace ourselves. So you were going to say something.
No, I was saying so true.
Yeah. But I mean, to me, this really is like, this is a 5-alarm fire right here. Okay. Because we are, it really is. It is. Because again, we're really hopeful at the national level for what's happening with Democrats. That doesn't translate automatically downstream. That all depends on the work we do. All of us here in Tarrant County, Like Salman Bhojani, Dennish Sherrard, Mimi Coffey, Francine Lai, Gwen Baroud. These are all people who could be potential state legislature members, either in the Texas House or the Texas Senate. They directly would impact the laws that govern our schools.
And lieutenant governor.
Mike Collier, lieutenant governor, sets that Texas Senate agenda. Okay. All this crazy crap we've seen that we're like, why? We're not worried. We don't fix the grid, do something about gun violence. All of that not getting addressed with Dan Patrick still there. Okay. We need Mike Collier. We need a non-indicted attorney general to actually enforce. Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to need him to go ahead and answer for what he's done.
Under indictment, under a second investigation, federal investigation on top of that, attended the January 6th Stop the Steal rally with his wife, left the mistress back in Texas, the one he got in trouble for because he used his office to get that mistress a job.
Oh, no.
We can do better. Rochelle Garza can do a hell of a lot better than that.
We need to do better. We deserve better. And until we get out there and vote and make a difference, we're going to get second-rate BS.
We're going to get this clown car, like, continuing.
It's not. Yeah. It's just not feasible. And for all of you who are like, oh, we got to get Beto in. We got to get Beto in. If he doesn't have allies at the Capitol, it doesn't matter if we get him in. It doesn't.
No, it does. It still matters.
Oh, no.
It still matters because he can still slow the pace of some of this stuff. He can still do vetoes. So it does matter. But if you really want that big change, if you want that big change and that forward momentum finally for our state instead of being dragged backward, then down ballot, that's your ticket.
It sure is.
Yes.
And don't think your municipals and local county don't matter because, man, they do.
Judges.
Oh, gosh, yes.
I mean, speaking of Crystal Gaydon and our Fort Tarrant, all our judges, like, we have a really, really great opportunity. We just nominated John Brender for our 485th, newly created 485th District Court. And again, don't sleep on those down ballots. Don't sleep on that justice of the peace at the very bottom, because they hear disputes that are super local, super specific to you and your area. And those are the voices, the people that we need in place who actually see everybody, who see and want to give equal judgment and, make judgment without fear or favor, right? For donors and things like that. We want that kind of judiciary in Texas. We need it desperately.
And we need fair outcomes. I mean, we don't need a ton of people incarcerated long term for the teeniest, tiniest, ridiculous crimes, I mean,
well, and that's again, that's draining our taxpayer resources. Yes.
Yeah, we need marijuana legalized because our
tax revenue.
Oh, well, I mean that too, but we have our correction system so flooded with minor issues. Meanwhile, we have people with major issues, getting, instead of 3 strikes you're out, like 15 because, oh, well, it's so-and-so's son, or give me a break, people. The elitist get off.
Look at affluenza teen, okay? That was Texas. The kid who came from a wealthy family, was drunk driving. It was not the first offense, killed multiple people. And then his lawyer argued he didn't know any better because he grew up with so much money and lack of consequences. Like, I think our candidates can do better than that. I think our candidates can still have compassion and actually hear and give everybody a voice while still being fair, right?
But
great opportunity there. Go ahead.
I'm going to say, I don't think they can. I know they can. We have amazing judicial candidates. Amazing. Bright.
Yeah.
Powerful. Just amazing. Like, fangirling over them all. And that's not just like judicial courts, y'all. That's JPs as well. Because they're the ones who see our individual local,
Oh yeah, I mean, we have we have Rodney Lee for Justice of the Peace. I think it's Precinct 4. Jika Williams, Jika for Judge. I know, I love her. I love her little tune that she always does. Kenneth Sanders, Kenneth Sanders, I thought at our, oh gosh, I didn't even remember to mention yet. I can't believe I'm just now getting to it. We had our amazing candidate town hall this last weekend at the UAW Union Hall.
Yes.
Thank you so much to our local labor leaders for letting us use your hall. It was phenomenal.
And volunteers for helping make it successful.
Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Thank you to our volunteers. Thank you to our candidates, everybody who came and supported and helped out. But I was going to bring up Kenneth Sanders, one of our Justice of the Peace candidates. He's running for re-election. He's already currently an incumbent. But he was talking about, and I really thought, I was genuinely surprised, I guess, by this answer that he gave. But it was a question about, how do you use your elected office? How will you use it to support, labor, union workers? And he really had a great answer. And he talked about how, as Justice of the Peace, he's dealing with a landlord. But he also knows and has all the pieces of information that this person currently before him with this dispute with the landlord, their union has gone on strike. And he knows that at the end of that dispute, they're going to be compensated for that time. And then that landlord will then be compensated as well. So he doesn't take into only one side on that account. He took into all sides, knowing all of that information, and made a judgment going forward that best helped not just, the landlord has to be compensated for his, rental property, but also for the tenant who's in a financial hardship due to those circumstances. And we have to support labor. That's the backbone of American economy, are the workers. So I just think having amazing candidates like this, I'm just so fired up. I am so fired up about the midterms.
And we can't
forget
it. We can't forget.
Yes.
Judge Sergio De Leon. He's also an elected. And y'all, not just Tarrant County, but we're talking to everybody nationally, but we kind of love our Texans and kind of really need our Texans to show up, do their thing.
I think I I truly think that polling is not going to
Accurate?
be able to measure. No, well, that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode.
That is a whole other episode, but we will get there eventually. No, there are issues with accuracy, but it's not supposed to be the end all be all like in polling. It's just supposed to be an overview, if you will, of a shift, right? And with that in mind, I don't think polling is going to be able to accurately gauge the shift happening, because truly, Republicans, independents, and damn sure Democrats are so pissed off about the overturning of 50-year precedent of Roe v. Wade, and all of the trickle effects, if you will, that is having, right? When you take away that consent, and the government takes away your ability to consent to moving forward with a pregnancy or not, takes away your ability to have. No, it's not. It affects all. That's what I'm saying. It affects so many other areas because of that right to privacy. I mean, they're already talking about contraception. They're already talking about same-sex marriage, not interracial yet, but they're getting there.
But not just that, y'all. The medications that are used for abortions are also used for cancer, for rheumatoid arthritis, and doctors are so afraid of lawsuits that Abbott is willing and ready to enforce that it's not just abortion. It isn't. It's if you're pro-life and have rheumatoid arthritis, get cancer, you're affected too.
True. Again, it affects everything. They're like that's the. I think if nothing else, if you take nothing else away from this podcast today, they are sabotaging the very things that they're then turning around and telling you, hey, keep putting us in charge of these things that you're pissed off about. And the people, the public is like, but that doesn't make sense. And they're still trying to use that same gimmick to sell it. And the public keeps saying, but that doesn't make sense. Why would we let you be in charge of elections when you keep telling us elections have a lot of problems, but you've been in charge of that 20 years? Why would we listen when it comes to healthcare when you're saying, because of my personal belief, I'm going to dictate what you have to do for your entire life and what kind of healthcare choices you get to make. But I'm all about personal freedom and liberty. It doesn't add up. It just doesn't.
Well, so not just that. Until I got into politics, I was in the medical field. HIPAA. So you mean to tell me all of our medical history is up for grabs? Because
only half of us.
This is the precedent.
Not the men.
Right. Well, not necessarily, because
not yet.
That's right. Not yet. I mean, look, y'all, all of the females that are out there, let me just say, what's next? Taking our right to vote away? Putting us back in the kitchen barefoot pregnant? No.
Oh, there's a candidate. There's a Republican candidate who talked about taking away the right to vote for women. right
Oh,
now in
because
Ohio.
we're too stupid to make a decision about our own bodies. Heaven forbid we actually have a say about government. I can't with these folks.
There's a judge, I think it was Florida, who ruled after the abortion ban, because Supreme Court, that I don't remember if it's 14 or 16-year-old girl, but a minor, an underage girl, was too young and not mature enough to decide to get an abortion, but was mature enough / able to have the government tell her she has to become a mom.
I thought
this is what we get. This is what we
guardians.
get, though. No, see, this is what she's an orphan, by the way. She does not have parents. So, but this is what we get when we're not doing rule of law. Okay? This is what we get. Because this is dictating. You must live the way we want. That's not rule of law. Okay? Rule of law means that we have females, non-binary, trans, everybody. It doesn't matter your pronouns. Ted Cruz kiss my ass. It doesn't matter any of that. Because whether you understand it or not, Ted, I got equal rights. I have equal protection under the law, which means if there's not a law for men with the government telling them what they can or cannot do with their body, there damn sure doesn't need to be one for me. And there are plenty of Texas women, non-binary, trans, Republicans, independents, Democrats, all sorts that are saying, you know what? None of that shit adds up. That doesn't make sense. Texans, we have our issues. I'm not going to pretend like we don't. But as a people, we hate that kind of crap.
Okay. And let's say you're having your first child and you find out it's a high risk. I don't even, that future parent doesn't even have the choice to decide to live or die. If it's a high risk pregnancy, you don't matter. And we're too stupid to make a decision about our own bodies. So I can't.
Are you watching House of Dragons?
No.
It's the new, okay, so it's the new, I promise I'm going somewhere with this. It's the new prequel show for Game of Thrones. It shows how, like, the Targaryens, it's all the build up to that.
What's it called?
Anyway,
House of Dragons?
House of Dragons. It's pretty good. So I've only seen the one episode so far. I got to catch up. It's good. But the very first episode, so spoiler alert, if you've watched it, just skip through this part. But the very first episode, we see the queen and she's pregnant and she's in there and she's giving birth, but there's a problem. And so the maester, who is like the doctor version in this, again, it's sci-fi, but it's supposed to be based in like a medieval world, which is a world where women, pregnant people, did not have a say in their health care. This is where I'm going with this. So again, spoiler alert, fast forward or pause or whatever you want to do if you don't want to know the first episode.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. So the king, finally, the guy is like, hey, basically, if we do nothing, we're going to lose them both. If we do something, we'll lose her, but we'll save the baby. And he is obsessed with having an heir, a male heir. So the scene is where they are basically giving her a C-section. No anesthetics, no way to replenish the blood or anything like that. Again, it's supposed to be in like a medieval time. And for me, I'm going to be honest, it was kind of triggering because of my first child's birth. And that whole situation, which you can go find my TikTok. I explain it somewhere. So anyway, but it highlighted the lack of the person, the pregnant person in all of that. It really was like, I know that's medieval times, but that feels eerily like today, because
Yeah.
I keep hearing all of these politicians talking about, what about this and what about that? And, Amy Coney Barrett on the Supreme Court during the oral arguments, just do adoption. Again, that's not focused on the health, life, well-being of the pregnant person. And that is so flippant and dismissive of the messiness that is just real human life. And again, the actual person carrying the fetus, the child, the eventual
Not just
child.
that,
Yeah.
but victims of rape, children,
Incest.
the 10-year-old here recently, victims of rape. You mean to tell me that not only does that victim have to endure that horribleness, but they can't even begin to consider
Healing.
Yes, for another 9 months. And then for the rest of your
lifetime. It's for a lifetime. That is a reminder for a lifetime.
Because, well, that's what I was going to say. Because then, for the rest of your life, you have to fear that child finding you and blaming you, hating you, whatever, you having to choose to accept that child, and then you're reliving the everything that you're probably already reliving day to day, but it's just so much bigger than pro-life.
Well,
I mean, it's so much bigger.
It really is. It really is. And last August 25th, last week, that's when it's being called the Abbott abortion ban. I don't like that name for it. Here's why. I call it the Texas trigger law because that's literally what it is. But Republicans, okay, it wasn't just Abbott. Again, to the wonderful point that Vicki emphasized earlier, we cannot just elect Beto and then expect like the Republicans are magically going to be sensible. They're not, because they put this into place. They put this trigger law into place for Greg Abbott, for Dan Patrick, for Ken Paxton to use in the way they are using it. They did not include any exceptions for rape or for incest or for the life of the mother. They added that last minute, the life of the mother. But it's so vaguely written that hospitals are scared to do anything or touch anything until women are near death and toxic from sepsis. So again, the Republicans enabled this. It is the Texas trigger law because Republicans wanted it that way. And there are no exceptions. And there's no safety net. There is no safety net. They are gaslighting and pretending like they're going to now try to address the issues, around childhood poverty, lack of insurance. There is no safety net. They are not doing it.
Yep, they aren't.
So why would we reward them with more time on the job to keep doing a terrible job?
I don't know, folks. But can we show up in November and show them all that
October?
Oh yeah, for early voting.
Early voting.
Yes.
I will say Mark Clayton, again, one of our phenomenal judicial candidates, part of the 4 Tarrant group. But she talked about in her closing at the town hall. She said, I'm not going to say November 8th. I'm going to say October 24th. On day one, let's lock that down. Let's let everybody in Texas know we are tired of the tyranny. We are tired of this. And I got to agree. Like October 24th, That's how excited I want Democratic voters, independent voters, Republicans who see the extremism and are like, that is too crazy for us. I want everybody flooding early voting because, again, Abbott and his GOP, they're not operating from confidence right now. Okay, they're cosplaying for 2024, thinking their suppression is going to protect them in 22, and it's not. People see the ridiculousness.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's true.
Speaking of, did you hear about the Uvalde parents that went and protested outside the governor's mansion?
Tell me about it.
Okay. So Governor Abbott had a scheduling conflict and couldn't meet with them. So they showed up to his house before sunrise with loudspeakers of their children's voices playing and laughing, and and then getting on their megaphones and saying, these are our children. You've done nothing. You're not meeting with us. You're doing nothing. He never came out there. He sat in the mansion like a coward. He never came out there. No, I mean, and May 24th is when that happened. May 24th is when 19 children under the age of 12 were massacred by weapons of mass destruction made to be used on a battlefield. And 2 educators, so 21 people total, lost their lives. And we have had not a single special session to address any kind of gun safety reform of any kind. Do you know what we had special sessions on, Vicki? In 21?
Tell me.
It wasn't 1. It wasn't 2. I believe it was 3 special sessions, and it was around election integrity and the abortion ban, the Texas trigger law. Those are the priorities of our governor. Not funding education, not saving children's actual lives, the ones who are here. That was his priority. Keeping voters out of the voting booth and keeping pregnant people and women at home making babies.
Barefoot pregnant. Yeah. I hate extremists.
Me too. They suck.
Extremists don't represent the majority of America.
But again, here's why I'm excited about midterms. In Roanoke. Okay, have you been to Roanoke, Texas?
Roanoke?
Okay, Roanoke.
It's Roanoke.
Roanoke. Well, I've always said Roanoke, so I'm gonna try, but I'm gonna fall back on it. So anyway.
Hey, if y'all are from Roanoke, please let us know if it's Roanoke or Roanoke. I mean, I've never heard Roanoke, but that's kind of cute and it might work. Let us know.
Well, it might be my kid brain and it just stuck because that's when I saw that sign. But I used to go out there all the time, not all the time, but on a semi-regular basis because that's where you had to go to get Babe's chicken.
And you are a fan for sure.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed. Seriously, I'm so grateful there's one now that's so much closer to me because I love it. Shout out to Babes. But in Roanoke,
no, they are not a sponsor, but we will gladly accept them as one.
Yes, please. Yes,
please.
Yes, that'd be great.
Or feed us during our podcast. You don't have to necessarily sponsor, but we are accepting sponsors, podcast sponsors. Yes, please.
Yes.
And thank you.
So in Roanoke, I can't do it. in Roanoke.
Roanoke.
Roanoke. So
You are so Texan.
I know it's a small, or it was. It's starting to actually kind of blow up, but it was a kind of smaller town, like small Texas town feel, real like one street, main street kind of a thing, like real cute.
Rural. Yeah.
Yes. Now it has kind of gained some population and built up a little bit in the last few years, but still has that small town feel.
Yes.
They had a drag queen brunch out there. And there was a group of protesters who thought, we're going to shut this down. You know what happened?
They got the finger.
The event was sold out. So the event was sold out and packed and still happened. And they had counter protesters to contend with. And they were like freaking out again. This is the reason I think people should be excited about midterms, because they cannot gauge that type of energy in a poll, in a quick poll. But so many people in this tiny, more conservative area flooded this event because it's just fun. It's just fun. Drag queens are fun and they are fabulous to look at. I mean, just
oh my gosh, like no beautiful joke. I want to be that beautiful as a female.
I really want like a drag queen makeup session so bad.
Please.
I think that'd be so amazing.
Let me just tell you, their makeup is on point.
It's beautiful.
I mean, I have enough makeup I could start my own retail store, but that doesn't mean I'm good at applying it.
Yeah, they I don't know how they do all the sculpting, but they do amazing.
Gorgeous.
So, but anyway, but I mean, again, like this very real event happened. It was protesters, but then counter protesters, and it was the community just saying like, you don't like it, don't go. Because that's how common sense Texans usually are. It's always been like live and let live. And the Republicans have blown that up. Like they're showing their true colors of, we just want to tell you how to live your lives. And most people, it really doesn't matter your ideology. They're not down with that. They don't need the government telling me how to live. I just want to live. And then when I need government services, it's not a pain in the butt to try to access those. Right? I mean,
America is known as a free country. We're getting less free and free all the time. And it's wrong. Pretty soon we'll just, Republicans had this huge fit about, Democrats wanting health care across the board, and that's socialism, blah, blah. So dictatorship is okay? No, it's a free country.
Well, here's the thing, like whether it's healthcare or like the student loan forgiveness that just happened, okay? What are they offering instead? What are they offering? Because I am going to get $10,000 of student loans forgiven. That's what I will qualify for. Now, I would like that to be more, of course. I would love for it to be all my loans forgiven. But I'll take 10,000. I'll take that. Yes, please.
For real?
Let's see. But what are my Republican officials that I currently have, because they do work for me, right? Even though I don't vote for them, I vote for their opponents. That's still who got elected, so they still are supposed to listen to me. Yes.
They're supposed to.
What are they? Yeah, but what are they offering? They're making fun of me and calling me elite because I had to take out loans in order to afford college that I'm still paying back because of a very broken student loan infrastructure in the whole of the country. So what are you guys what's your offer, Republicans? Like, you're not telling me, that 10,000, we're going to give you 20. You're not doing that. You're like saying, ha, You should have higher interest rates. I mean, no thanks.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not willing to give up my ability to vote. I'm not willing to give up any of my rights. I'm just not.
Same.
And no one else should want to do that either. Not just, females, but like anybody, no one, because again, if you develop cancer or have rheumatoid arthritis, I mean, you don't even have access to health care for that. So come on, y'all, get out there and vote, please.
Get on the Connect Texas app. Get on our app. Reach out to your friends and family through it. We make it really easy, like to survey, because again, I know it can feel overwhelming a lot. I get that. Yes. But it really is as simple as, participate in our Send a Survey. Like, send them a question about how they feel about public education and let them answer it. That gives us insight into what, where the community is at a little better. And then it also gives you an opening as their friend, as their family member, as their neighbor, to be like, I noticed that you filled out the survey. Like, what'd you say? And then they can be like, I would like to see public education fully funded, or I am not pro voucher. I don't think that coupons are okay. That gives you an easy way to talk to them about politics, but without having to get into the partisanship and the just the ugliness that Republicans are purposely trying to shove in right now. They are trying to inject so much awful that everybody is just like, what's the point? I give up. And then they get to stay in the job, and they don't deserve to stay in the job, clearly.
No. Negative. And it's time to speak up for ourselves. It's time to demand and have the option of actually being represented for actual fair representation. I mean, it's time. It's time. And it's not going to happen until y'all get out there and demand it by voting. I know I've already said it, but I mean it every time I say it.
Get registered before October 11th. Do not wait. Do it now. mytexasvotes.com or tarrantdemocrats.org/voting101. Find out what IDs you need. Get the information. Get your thing typed in, printed, mailed to you, and then sign it and send it back. Like, get it done.
Vote by mail.
Take all of this.
Yes, get all that taken care of. And I don't know where y'all can find it, but we have like a how-to for the vote by mail, how to fill it out, and what not to.
All of that's linked on Voting 101. All of
Perfect.
That. Sorry, you were saying.
You're awesome. That's it. Just get all that taken care of. All of you.
Yes, get her done. Yes. All right. So last thing that we'll end with, because it's the juicy stuff that I like to end with. But I wanted to talk a little. Yeah. So, and to kind of like tie in what we've already talked about, but with also another story. So, also happening recently, Mar-a-Lago, the place where Trump currently resides in Florida, the Tangerine Tyrant, was served a search warrant. It was not a raid. Okay. It was a search warrant. It was a lawfully executed search warrant signed off by a judge, going through, again, the legal process. That is normal rule of law stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he had top secret documents in boxes in the storage area, not locked, not protected, just
Yeah. So not only should he not have
there.
had it, but come take it. Let me share our national security because I don't really care about Americans.
Yeah. So it's not even like it was but her emails with Hillary Clinton. And again, she got approval for that. There were issues, not pretending there weren't a few, but this is but his document. It's not even his documents, but our documents, right? Because like you said, they're not his. And he's trying to do this like pretend thing where I declassified them, so it's fine. But I only declassified them for myself. It's not how it works. So when a president declassifies a document, there's a process, and in that process is the level of declassification. And if he blanket declassifies it as president, not after he lost and is no longer president, because that's not a thing. He was the loser. He did not win. He lost. The loser. Jim Carrey impression. Anyway, I'm dating myself there. Anyway.
Who is that? No.
Yeah, no. But he lost. He should not have the documents. They belong to the people. And if he declassified them while president, then he declassified them for the people because they're our documents, not his. He's our employee.
Let us see them. And
I would very much like to see.
Yeah. And if it is indeed, if all of that information is indeed a matter of national security, then you couldn't have declassified it. He could not have declassified it because, like you said, it's a free-for-all for everybody. Everybody.
I mean, some of the documents they're talking about that they are going through, I mean, top secret sources and methods of our spies, of our contacts, our informants in foreign governments and foreign places. And that is like the mother lode of decapitating our intelligence capabilities. And here's the other thing. He went from, I don't have any documents, I've turned them all in, to, okay, I've got a few documents, but I declassified them, to maybe the documents were planted there. So now we're at the iteration of,
make up your mind.
Oh no, it gets stupider. So now we're at the point of, he's gone to a judge and said, I need a special master. Now, a special master is what they put in place, a judge might put in place whenever it's an issue of information or data or documents, materials that are between a client and their lawyer. And then there's a third party, an uninterested neutral party who reviews those to see, okay, these are evidence and these are confidential, and lawyer relationship, can't look at those. This is not that. This is not that. These are our documents of national security. There's no reason. And again, it's documents that he declassified, but maybe were planted. I don't know how nicely say that. It's stupid.
Pick one from the go. Like when you were talking to your attorneys, your legal team, like pick one from the go and stick with it. Otherwise, you're a liar.
But that's not what they do. That's not what they do.
Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah. That's just stupidity. I mean, if you're going to lie, do it right. Be consistent.
He pled the fifth which is only used in criminal trials. You only can plead the fifth, which is the right to non-self-incrimination. It's literally in the verbiage, okay?
Yeah.
In a
On the
criminal
grounds I'm
trial.
not
And
incriminating myself. Yeah.
right. But he did it in a civil case. So like he knows he is full of it. He knows. He knows.
I mean,
His lawyers know. They all know. Like it's not a secret.
all should know, but I don't
No,
understand.
We do.
Yeah. I don't understand the cult following he has. Yes, I said it. Because really? Again, recovering Republican, but really? Like,
What's the
one,
ideology? What's the value?
well, number one,
for Trumpism, yeah.
he is a racist, misogynist. How any woman can get behind him? Confused.
Mind-blowing.
Confused. He has zero respect for the fairer sex. He has zero respect. Yeah, no. We're second-rate citizens.
But see, that was known in 2016.
No,
that was known in 2016. We had the grab him by the, you know what, in 2016, right before the election. It was known, okay? We had public reporting on getting foreign help in an American election. We had the Mueller report confirm, hey, he knew he was getting foreign help in an American election, which is illegal as hell. All of that's known. And now we're seeing the Republican Party, you're right, it's like a cult now, because we're seeing them all say, that's still our guy. We know he jeopardized our national security.
Let's be fair. Not all Republicans. Not all of them. Otherwise, we wouldn't have,
no.
Otherwise,
elected
we
officials,
have
yes.
Left-leaning. But I don't think, I want to be fair here. Not every elected is like that. Not every elected Republican is like that.
I disagree.
Maybe I'm optimistic in thinking that there are some elected officials that believe in fair representation. I mean,
let me give you an example, Vicki.
Don't burst my bubble. Let me have some.
No. We're dealing in reality, and I'm going to burst everybody's bubble, okay? Seriously, because this is why
and generalizing.
I know, I'm not stereotyping. I'm going to give you real, concrete examples, okay? We had Brad Raffensperger, Secretary of State in Georgia in the 2020 election, who recorded his phone call with then President Trump, pressuring him to illegally adjust the vote tally so he could win Georgia. I just need you to find those 11,780 votes. Now, he stood up and said, hey, that's wrong. And he recorded it, and he stood by his testimony. Good job, Brad. However, what did he turn around and do as still Republican Secretary of State for the state of Georgia? He endorsed a bill that restricted voting based on that bullshit, based on the lie of 2020 election integrity issues of interference. The one that he got pressured to overturn and change, and he knew was wrong, and he still went along with it.
And our
Republicans in Texas, our elected Republicans, they were told by the Tangerine Tyrant to do an audit. Even though they oversaw the elections, they still did the audit. They still passed a voter suppression bill based on that bullshit, based on that lie. So yes, I'm going to stereotype all elected Republicans because they are still winking and nodding to the extremists because they think that's the only way they can win. So yes, it is all Republicans.
Every Republican representative.
The Republican Party as a whole has endorsed this, has enabled it every step of the way. They have voted and stayed together, not during one, but 2 impeachments. We saw insurrection on the steps of our national capital. And they are still, as well as our state, and they are still in the Republican Party, who is still legislating based on a lie. So yeah. Because that is how they keep staying in power. That is how they keep pretending, let us fix this. We keep breaking it. And I am tired of that loop. I am tired of that cycle. I would like to move forward instead of going in circles. And I think most Texans would.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because there are a lot that don't show up to vote. Yeah. Yes, I said that too. There are a lot,
and there's also a lot of barriers that are put in place to make it to where you don't want to bother. So, I mean, there is that. It is real. It's not imagined. But again, that's what Republicans do. And to overcome that, we have to show up in numbers they cannot deny.
So our forefathers fought for our rights, and if one of our rights is to vote, come on, folks, take advantage of it. Just saying.
It's use it or lose it time. It really is. We're there.
This is the Nutcracker time. Not Christmas. Yeah. Not Christmas. So.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to say that so it doesn't get edited.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it. Join us on Connect Texas. We, again, on our social medias are sharing out the link so you can click it and sign up. Truly, that is how we're going to win. Truly. And it's hard to gauge, but there is excitement on the ground. There is a hunger for that shift, that flip to finally happen in Texas. And Tarrant County is how we do it.